Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Virtual Collage Jam for Monday, March 23rd. And I don't know, I'm looking the light is not looking good today. I'm looking a little pale, but what can you do, right? If I open the window, the blind, then things will get yeah. So anyway, it is what it is. Um, It does look like it's a little brighter than it was earlier, so I hope you're enjoying some bright weather where you are as well. I think it was yesterday that was like, oh my God, wrist sweatingly gray. So I hope it is not that anymore for where you're at. Um, I suppose this is our last virtual collage jam until after of the winter, because we're now officially into spring by just a few days, which is like awesome as some snowflakes fall down here in Brampton. But I hope that you are getting ready for some spring. um, it's always two steps forwards and then one or maybe sometimes 10 back when we have like a really bad snowstorm, and isn't it? So hey Val, welcome aboard. How are you? Are you busy collaging up storm with with, are you still working on river dredgings and climate oriented stuff? Hello, Betty. Awesome to have you along. Sunny in Quebec too. Awesome. Perfect. And yeah, Kat, hello, Annie. She says pretty snow flurries. Yeah. The ones we were having, like, I can't tell actually now, but when I last looked, were the nice big fluffy flakes, which is, it is pretty, right? When they're like that. Um, So that's awesome. And it's nice to have some of the regulars along, guys. Thank you for coming. Um, it is if I suddenly don't make a sentence make sense, it's just because I've been working my derriere off getting ready for artist project. So fingers crossed that that all comes together. I am going to the printer to pick stuff up probably late tomorrow to install on Wednesday. I just sent the book off, and they said that the soonest it could be, at least online, they said soonest it could be ready was next week. And I'm like, well, what do I expect when I send it off so late, because I've been just so behind this time. But I asked them if they might be able to expedite it, and if they could, then I might be able to have some for the last 2 or hopefully 3 days of the show, which would be awesome. Um, but yeah, I'm feeling excited about the new work, so there's that. And Kim designed the book in record time after I finally gave her the resources to do it, so that's exciting. Lots is exciting, maybe too exciting, but it seems to be coming together, so that I'm excited. I'm relieved actually about that, because it's not the first time I've done it. So the first time you do any of these things, like the first time I did the artist project, I was like, there's so much to information that they give you and things that you need to do, and it's overwhelming. And sort of now I know the boxes that tick. So this morning I was up early looking after some of those, like filling out the health and safety form and getting my parking pass booked, and so on. So um, oh, thank you, Betty. That's very kind. I fingers crossed, right? So yeah. When I switch to the overhead camera, I'll show you guys a booth mock-up in case if that's interesting. It's sort of as if it's, instead of being shaped, it's as if it's flat, but it gives you an idea of what will be in the booth. But today we have mountains to move and or to collage with. So Are you going to be playing with that? Let me know in the comments. Do you have a plan? I have a plan, which I'll get into in a minute. Um, so, um, you know, I don't always have a plan, so it's nice to have a plan once in a while. So I'll get going with that. Before I do, though, I should mention that during today's jam, I am going to have 2 pair of tickets to the artist project to give away. The artist project is doing something a little different than in years past. Now they are offering the tickets. They're not transferable, but if you buy one ticket, it's good for either, like you can either buy or win from me, hopefully. Tickets that are good for sort of Thursday, the opening Thursday night, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or just Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that means that if you wanted to, you could go back again on the same ticket, which is, I actually don't know why they they didn't do that before, but that's great, right? Because sometimes, like especially for collectors, if they go scope the show out and then they want to go back and buy, you shouldn't be punishing them to go back, right? You should be like, come on back, if you want to buy something. So, and I've noticed that that's often the way, like people scope the show out in the early days, and then on Sunday they come back to do their actual purchasing. So, yeah. So, but if it also means just if you're an enthusiast and you just like, I can't take that whole show in one day, right? It is pretty overwhelming. So you could go, like, as long as you're not too far away from the show, you could go, for a few hours one day, then head home, let your visual palette cleanse, right, and get a good night's sleep, and then come back and see some more. So anyway, so I will try to. I'll ask very simple skill testing questions, like very basic. So there'll be 2 opportunities. I will give away 1 pair of tickets that's good for Thursday night and all the rest of the days. The gala opening is Thursday night, and it's when is it? It's 6 till 10, and it's kind of like the most diverse because it's got they'll have a fashion show of some kind. They have demonstrations. They have music. They have and a few other activations like events. So, like the whole show has things going on other than just booze. But Friday night, sorry, See, I told you, I warned you that I might not be able to think straight. Thursday night, the opening night, has the most stuff going on. So, yeah, so I will offer those probably in a few 40 minutes or something like that, and then I'll offer the second pair towards the end of the jam. So, 2 kicks at it, and we haven't been getting huge numbers of people here, so your odds are good of scoring a pair. So, all right, so I'm going to switch to my overhead camera. Hold on a sec, and we'll get this party started. And are you guys working with Mountain at all? And if so, what's your plan? Let me know in the comments. All right. Let's see what get this sort of more or less in the right place. I think this light needs to be on apparently. All right. That is still not looking great, but it's looking better than it was. This camera is not loving the lighting. Oh well. All right. So you heard word of a plan. So my plan is that I have little molehills so that I'm going to make into mountains. So so Oh, I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. I did say I would show you guys um, booth diagram. So first things first, there we go. So that's, I'll move this out of the way so it's not distracting. So this is the booth. So this is the central back wall, which will have 6 pieces that are 30 by 40 framed pieces. This is one end wall here, and it'll have 3 small pieces and 1 larger one. And then I'm doing on one end wall, I'm doing like a large print that takes up the entire wall. And the idea there is, you guys know I've been doing the large scale prints, and I just thought, you know, if like a business or a gallery or a collector who would love to have that, something like that on their dining room wall or their rec room or whatever, like why not, right? It's kind of cool to have like really large images. So I want people to see it in this environment so that I can say, yeah, it'll be this much per square foot, and we can do, you know, any image. And so, you know, when they can see it, then they can understand how compelling it can be. So hello, Margaret. How are you? Nice to have you along. Margaret says, I haven't a clue what to collage, so probably I'll be an observer today. Annie, thank you very much. Yes, the the pieces I'm particularly fond of, but I've got some almost black and white, but with just like little hits of red. And then these sort of pattern-oriented ones I'm also excited about. Um, you know, I'm excited about all of them, but those in particular. So thank you for saying that, Annie. All right, so back to mountains. So for a bunch of those collages, since I do day collages, I always keep like a little pile of my scraps off to the side because I never know whether I'm going to want to put them back in or whatever. So these are scraps from pieces I did for the artist project, and I've just sort of kept them like, so this is from one particular piece, and you can sort of see its color scheme from that. This is from a piece that was mostly black and white with a little bit of red in it, so you can see that. And so it's kind of like scraps with a they've already got the DNA of the piece in them, but they're what's left over. So I thought it'd be really fun to just try and make mountains of these little molehills. So that's my plan. And I think I'm going to start with the black and white. I'm sort of enjoying the black and white thing. So, and probably what I'll do is make like a simple graphic background of something that these would look good on. That will probably be black, white, and gray. So I'll get that started. And Margaret, if you don't know what you're up to, why not just like collage some kind of a mountain's a pretty simple image, right? So why not do something like that? Maybe with a few meadow flowers in the foreground, right? I know you like your flowers. I mean, so do I, right? So. Ooh, that's a nice rich red there. I mean, they're both quite related. All right, looks like I have to crack open a new package of black, but you know how much I love my black backgrounds, so it's going to be worth it. And I mean, obviously, free tickets or not, are a bunch of you planning on attending the artist project? I have to say, having having taken part in it the last, what is this? This is my fourth time, I think. Um, I really find it's a show full of really good stuff. Of course, it varies, right? Because it's so many people. But I think by and large the quality is quite good. So I think it's a good experience and definitely a great place to get inspired. Um, so these are not going to be pictures of. I have the thought, but I didn't have the follow through that I might print out pictures of particular iconic mountains like Everest and the Matterhorn and Mount Kilimanjaro and Mount Fuji and stuff like that. But I failed to follow through. So because I thought, wouldn't it be cool to like? Yes, it would if I just got some reference images, but failing that, I mean, I guess I could look them up on my phone. Maybe I'll give it a whirl. Why not? Let's see. Well, that kind of ups the ante a little bit, doesn't it? When rather than working out of your imagination, but might be kind of, might still be good. All right. I'm already getting off topic a bit because I'm using pieces that aren't my scraps, but I think I will predominantly. you guys can hold me to it. You can say, Kat, you're not using your scraps. Sometimes when I'm finishing a collage session, I will have a whole bunch of scraps, and I'll say to myself, okay, before I tidy up, I'm going to try and make something out of these, like really quick, without overthinking, out of the remaining scraps. So in this case, it doesn't look like, well, with these decollage pieces, it's not until the very end that I'm sure that I'm done with them. So so I don't usually, they usually get held for days or weeks until I'm sure I'm done with that collage, right? So with these, I know I'm sure because they've got sent off to the printer and so on. So all right. I like having restrictions. I'm sure you guys do too, for the most part. I mean, apart from these two pieces that I've used as the background, the plan is to just use these scraps for the rest of it. So hopefully that'll work out. I think it can. I mean, we'll see, right? But I need some gray, something grayish anyway. That looks about right. That'll work. And maybe this side up. And I want it to sort of be sloping down a little bit, like that. And then, okay, so let's have well, I can figure that part out as I go. Okay. Just Kat's thoughts to herself as she figures out what she's doing. I'll check in with comments in a minute or a few minutes. See what you guys are thinking about such things. Does anyone else have shows coming up? Kim and I just, I mean, it's still up for until the end of this coming week, but we had that show that we're both in at Redhead Gallery, and as part of Elaine's show called Cumbrano Salis, and there was artist talks, all the artists who were taking part. I think there are 8 or 10 artists, different artists that Elaine herself and then other people she invited, like Kim and I, to participate. So she actually had someone there interviewing us, which was nice, and recorded it. And so we all talked a little bit about our individual works, and Elaine talked about the entire show, which was very, I mean, it's so great to be part of a larger group. For instance, when we were installing, it was like, when Kim and I install our own shows, we are used to it being like a major slog fest, right? it's like this. It takes a lot out of us, and it takes a big effort. And with when there were like I don't know, 8 or 10 people, but then partners as well. So there are all these like super willing, friendly people installing. It went so smoothly, and everyone was enjoying it. It's like, what a revelation that was. It was just like such like Kim and I are used to like hanging on for grim death as we're trying to mount like at some huge show um, on our own or with only a couple of friends helping. And so, yeah, no, it was awesome. Really great. So, yeah, do you guys have any shows coming up? Are you in any juried shows? Are you submitting anything somewhere? Let us know in the comments, and I'll check in a few minutes. I'm thinking I need more sort of, well, I need more white, that's for sure. So fit in a little more white. The white sort of stops at a sort of shelf there, so I can go here like that. Yeah, that's good. Ish. A couple more white fragments. And they get very skinny, so maybe this skinny white piece would be helpful. Maybe like over here. Get this non-white piece off of it. There we go. And I can bring some more of the fragments over here. And there are just a couple of sort of faint bits on the light side of the mountain, so I'll throw those in, and maybe I'll throw in like that's annoying, it has some green in it. Where'd that come from? That's not in the plan. Green be gone. Don't you know you're outside of the color gamut for this piece? But what I was saying is this side is very white, so I'll see if I've gotten any sort of more white pieces of collage paper like that. And maybe some of this could get used for that. Just down the sort of more pristine side. Actually, it's not more pristine, it's just being lit more strongly. So that's really what it is. But yeah, I think that'll sort of give that feeling of a stronger stronger white edge. And actually the entire top is kind of that way too. So it's sort of got like a little, not quite a double hump, but a sort of one side is a little more, a little taller. Not that much taller, Cat. And then the other one sort of slopes off. So I'm just going to put a piece at the very top that reflects that. I should have put it under some of these pieces, but maybe what I'll do is, oh, I see. It's always a case, the longer you look at an image, the more you notice, right? So I'm seeing a few things that, oh, okay, I can sort of express that. That's good. Because there's a sort of an edge. It's white at the top, but there's a darkened edge. But anyway, this piece hopefully will. I said I might struggle with my words, and there is a perfect case in point today. I woke up early, not intentionally, but once up, there was no going back. I tried to get back to sleep, but it wasn't going to happen. So I just got up early. So I got a lot done. So hopefully when I crash tonight, that'll be fine. All right. I'm going to check in with comments and see what you guys are saying and what you're up to. All right. So let's see. Margaret says hello. Hello, Margaret. And Andy says, love the artist project. Yes, overwhelming. So a multi-day pass is a great idea. Yeah, because I mean, you have to have quite some intestinal fortitude to manage to see the whole show on one day. I've never managed it. And Annie says she's working on a collage with trees and mountains in the background. Perfect. That's actually kind of what I'm doing with Mount Fuji here. I imagine I'll try and allude to some of these cherry blossoms in the foreground once I get a little further along with my my other stuff. So much fun detritus here. That's like a etching or something, but that's kind of fun. Got this sort of darkened area in the foreground. Not the foreground, but in front of the mountain. Middle ground is what that would be, Cat. It's not the foreground, that's for sure. So I'm just going to see if I can sort of approximate that with this. Some of this is too light, but the top edge is darkish anyway. And it sort of slants off somewhat like that. So I'm going to put that in, and if it needs, oh wow, that side's actually darker, but it's not tapered in the right direction. Maybe I should still try and change it because I think maybe it's better. That is what happens. Classic when you're collaging, right? Okay, so it's got a little, goes down a bit. It goes over. And it sort of tapers down. I'll probably need some supplementary pieces, but I think that's actually not too bad. So It's funny, guys. You know, I don't normally collage like this very much, but it is kind of fun working with an image every once in a while. I mean, I know I work with images, but what I mean is a reference image where I'm then building a collage of it, kind of thing. And yeah, it's kind of fun. Now that goes all the way across, but actually I could extend it with this. So there, that actually works. Okay, that's good. And I'd even darken some of the area that I wanted to darken. So this is actually very much akin to sort of like some collage artists refer to this as like painting with paper, and it's kind of what it's like, right? You are like, what I'm doing now is sort of painting broad strokes, and then I could add details as much as or as little as I want afterwards. But I'm sort of getting the shapes and the and it is very akin to painting. So I was going to put a bigger piece of black, but then I realized it was sort of essentially black over black. And I figured what I should do is, rather than use up all my black by putting black pieces over black pieces, I should be, I realized that like full on black is a bit of a premium, or black with interesting textures like this one has. I don't have a ton more, so I should save it. So preserve it for future because I might need it. This piece would be awesome if it were. Well, I'm sure I can make it work anyway. Just change it's the way it is. Just there's this sort of sweep of like, it looks like a shoreline of like either flat land or like flowers and foliage that's floating on the water, and then there's open water over to this side. So so I think I'm gonna approximate it with this piece that I had in my original collage. And then I can extend it a bit by tearing this to be a little, hopefully, a little more what I'm looking for. And if I move it over a bit, and then tear down, this is maybe a little bit too, oh, but I can go over top of that. That's fine. Listening to Kat figure out what she's doing in real time. Consoling herself that she can have that it can work. No, just do this, Kat. It'll be okay. Oh, and there is a bit more. That's good. There's a fair bit of that, which is fortunate. Apart from the piece that's stuck to my hand right now. All right. In 5 minutes, just giving you a heads up, in 5 minutes, I am going to give away the first pair of tickets. So the first pair of tickets is going to be tickets that are good for Thursday night, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So if you think, I mean, it doesn't matter if you don't go to the Thursday night opening, but if you think you might like to, then this is the pair of tickets to go for sure. But really, you can go for them even if you don't want to go, because they're good for all days. So we'll do that in just a couple of minutes. All right, let me see. Meanwhile, Kat's got to get her collage act together here. All right, it's lighter down here, and the water's kind of, it's not black, but it's darker through here. So that's not bad, actually. That's sort of darkish, but not super dark. And I suppose this could qualify as well. Maybe it'll go under that. And then some lighter colors will go in here. It actually not that light, so I'll have to figure something out. But one thing at a time. And so what can I use as something lighter, but not super light in the foreground? Maybe a little more of this tissue paper, although once it has glue on it, it'll get darker, I guess. But I'm going to go for it, and if it's not quite right, then I'll adjust as I go. It's actually ending up looking similar value to that, so I might need to boost it a little lighter yet. Find some light gray. It's kind of, yeah, this is dark though, isn't it? Yeah. All right. What if it's something like this? Yeah, especially in the foreground, I think this will be okay. Maybe a little bit too bright, but not too bad. I should have it be a little torn / irregular on the top edge too. All right. And I need to like something darker coming a little further over, it seems. But get that in place-ish there. And maybe a couple of darkerish pieces coming over here. All right, so are you ready? This is the first question that I am going to give you, and the first person who puts the right answer in the comments wins a pair of tickets to Thursday night or Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So the question is, where is the artist project, what building is it going to be in this year? If you know the answer to that, put it in, and the first person who puts it in the chat will score the first pair of tickets. Oh, Annie, that's not it. But you might be able to do a little quick research and see and get it in time. Anyway, hello, Nellie. How are you? Let's see. Philippa says, hi, everyone. She's late. Was at the library preparing something for my next art piece. Awesome. That sounds intriguing, Philippa. What? Tell us what you were preparing. Is it collage, paint, materials? And hello, Holly. Welcome back. Nice to have you here. Holly says, so cool seeing your installation pieces at the beginning there, Kat. Especially the VHS. Oh, yeah, behind the scenes, right? Sorry, I was like, VHS. Thinking behind the big installation. Very interesting. I'm glad. And thank you, Nellie. I'm glad you're enjoying it. There you go, Annie. You got it. It was a competition between Annie and Annie. So you are the first winner of a pair of tickets. I believe I have your email address, which is what I need. So I'm just going to jot you down and I will send you a pair of tickets. So I look forward to seeing you guys there. Oh man, I'm blanking on your husband's Jerry, right? Is Jerry going to come along, or are you going to bring an art friend? It'll be lovely to see you and whoever you bring. So first pair goes to Annie. Yay! Awesome. And the second pair of tickets, which will be good for Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, or all 3 days, I will give away at just at the end of the collage jam, maybe a few minutes before 3:30. So, so Philippa answers my question and says she was enlisting some help there to help me print some sketches onto fabric. Ooh, is there going to be some stitching involved, or glued collage, or a bit of both? Or that's awesome. All right, I'm getting back to my sort of pieces that are sort of in this, where this water, you know, I think it's like water and with sort of like ocean or lake with like marshy verges. So just a couple more pieces to articulate that a little bit more. And then I'm going to move on to the next, whatever the next thing is. Whatever the next aspect is, I guess, more accurately. It's funny, you know, I've been working on so many decollages lately that it kind of feels like a treat to be working in a different way, just for a change. So yeah, just thinking with in this sort of with decollage, you're sort of peeling up layers to discover things, and this is kind of the opposite. I'm sort of laying down things and sort of building them up as I go, and that's kind of entertaining, especially compared to what I've been playing with beforehand. So yeah, so that's fun actually. All right, what do we got here? I've got sort of a foreground that's got sort of a little diagonal thing there. I think I'm going to cover over at least some of this shape here. Doesn't have to be complete, just interrupt it a bit. And there's kind of like this sort of triangular shape that sort of echoes the, I don't think it's, well, I think this should do the job-ish. Yeah, close enough for rock and roll, right, guys? All right, try and put it on a part of the glue sheet that's not already super sticky so I can actually lift it off again. There we go. All right. Now the question is, the next question is, I guess is what I should say, is how to deal with these finish your sentence, Kat. Sorry. How to deal with the branches. And I'm going to, in a minute, I'm just avoiding it for a minute or two longer while I look at some other things that I need to sort out. But usually when we're making collages, right, there are parts that you have to do some thinking about, right? And they're often the ones I'll defer at first. And in this case, it only makes sense to build the background first and then put the branches in. But now we are definitely at branches time. And and I'm thinking I don't have a ton of what I'm looking for, but I might be able to make it work. So I might bring in some selective other pieces, especially these sort of pale blossoms in the foreground. I kind of think I should bring in some more of this pink, and this might be it here. So just tear bits out of that. But what I should do next is make some branches. And first thing I'm going to do is gather some dark pieces because they're at a premium. And I might cut them up into skinny bits because I'm going to have to make them go as far as I can. Let's see. That could actually work. Yeah, it's good cuts of this. All right, so I'm going to just cut up a bunch of pieces that I will then use as to play with. So I need to put them somewhere where I can find them, don't I? Yes, I do. That piece already has some branchy kind of feeling to it. That scrap, as does that one. That's pretty light. That feels a bit branchy already. as does that, as does that. Ooh, that one does too. As soon as I put my branch eyes on, I started seeing more things that looked like branches, so that's never a bad thing. So they're getting put in the branches pile here. There's another one, which I can save, peel off that red. So this is my little branch pile. And I'll cut some more pieces that will get added to it. And having all those makes me, and actually I could include a few red pieces too. That might be interesting because red is dark as well. And that might make for interesting a little variation. Excuse me, a little variation, right? So I'm looking at all these pieces that I'm finding and thinking, maybe I could make it work with just found pieces rather than pieces I cut. It would be a bit of a trick, but there's certainly more pieces than I thought at first that qualify. And there's this interesting thing that happens, like, sorry, I'm just trying to articulate it. So I've got these pieces and I can cut sort of branch-like shapes out of them. But when you find sort of idiosyncratic pieces that were cut for some other reason, like this piece has so much character to it. And in fact, it feels more branch-like than something I would cut. So there is this thing that happens when you work with found pieces that they bring their own sort of surprising and more interesting DNA from their previous life, right? So I think that's fascinating. Like here's another piece, which I think in the original collage was like a piece of like a hair or something. And it's more interesting than what I would have cut on my own. So who knows? I may end up going instead, maybe not completely, but more than I thought with these pieces I'm finding in the scraps. Wow, I've actually found quite a few. So, all right, so I'm going to try that without making new ones and just see if it works. I've got these if I need them, but well, there are a lot of branches, so maybe I'll cut some, cut or tear some, but and I don't have to do them all, that's for sure. But it can't hurt to have a good supply of both sort of purpose cut and found pieces. So I'm trying to add some sort of irregularity to my cuts that will feel branch-like, but also just look a little more interesting than just straight. Sorry guys, sometimes when I'm I get lost in thought and then realize, oh right, I'm supposed to be live streaming. I get working away on what I'm doing and thinking about the nature of branch shapes, and then suddenly I realize they haven't heard me say a peep. So sorry. Let's see what you guys are saying over here. Annie asks, do you say your new book will only be available by Friday or Saturday? So that is fingers crossed. In fact, the because I only sent it in today because I'm running so far behind, the delivery date they gave me was like next Tuesday. And so I thought, okay, I'll just have to order or take orders for the book. But I have emailed, or I've left them a voicemail and said, if it's at all possible to have it ready for Friday morning so that I can pick it up on the way into the show. So if they can do that, then I will have it for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So, but I don't know yet because I just asked like an hour ago, just before going on air. So I'm going to email you your tickets, and I will also email you and let you know if I hear back. Because yes, I've been a bit of a train wreck. I barely got barely got everything together in time. So I was collaging at the 11th o'clock, and then I was collaging past midnight, like literally, not literally, but figuratively, for the deadline. So Philippa says, yes, stitching and paint. That is awesome. I love that. I love the combination of it. I know a few artists who like to play in that ballpark at Nielsen Park Creative Center, and just there's something so lyrical about stitched lines somehow, with then like a loose end like just trailing off. Holly says, well done on winning the tickets, Annie. You wouldn't have had competition from me, or you would have had competition from me if I were in Canada. Yes, Holly, even if it is free tickets, it's probably too expensive. And especially so getting tickets, getting transportation in time. But I just did apply to a residency at the Standard Hotel in London. Now, I don't know what my odds are. I think they're probably low, but I think the residency is basically you get to stay in this very cool art hotel in London while you work and twist my rubber arm. So, unless you try, you don't you don't know if you won't get it if you don't try. I'm struggling with words. So cross your fingers for me. It would be awesome to get that. Obviously. All right, that should be at the end. That's a very skinny piece. Maybe a slightly fatter piece at the base. This piece, okay. But yeah, I could absolutely imagine being, I've been to London once. I've been to the UK once, and it was mostly visiting family. Actually, I have family there, but it was mostly visiting my wife's family at this point. And yeah, I've been wanting to get back ever since because I feel like London is my city. I just adore it. And I didn't get nearly enough time. We went into London because we were staying outside of London, not far, like an hour. So I went into London maybe 3 or 4 times over the course of 2 weeks, and I adored it. Um, so I really hope to get back. And what better way to get back than actually making some artwork there? So cross your fingers for me. I feel like that one should be up there. Got sort of two major branches, and I'm not even sure how much of them need to be shown as branches per se. Maybe they'll just be sort of hints. That one's kind of feel like these ones that are forked are better for up there. Maybe this one, which is also sort of a hair bit, I think, originally. Yeah, actually, what I should do is show you the collage that these bits are coming from. Of course, if I say that, then I'll not be able to get my hands on it easily, but it should be just over here. Yeah, awesome. So these bits that I'm working with are from, this is got some nasty reflection there. So this is the collage that the bits are left over from. So, so you can see like that red that I'm working with, that was with the paint marker, the black. There's a bunch of sort of typography in here, like here and up here. So yeah, that's where these scraps are coming from. And that's why this has that sort of very similar palette to it. So, all right, one more piece for this lower branch. I mean, there are a lot of branches here, so I'm going to try and be somewhat selective. Actually, a nice long white one, because this is going into darker areas, might make the most sense. Then I'll be able to find it. And maybe the end can just, well, actually, I don't have much further to go on that branch, but maybe just a little end tip with some of this text like paper. All right. Now there are a bunch of secondary branches, so I'm not going to put them all in, but I will try to allude to at least some of them. Yeah, probably that side. All right. All right, so it's 10 after 3. So I'm thinking that the next question for the second pair of tickets will be in another about 5 minutes. And so get ready if you're still looking for a pair of tickets and you'd like to come to the artist project this year. And this will be a pair that you can come on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. The only difference between this pair and the last pair is this pair you will not be able to go on the opening night, but that's the only thing that is different about this pair. So all right, and these go sort of more or less right up to the corner there. Oh, that didn't work very well, did it? Because I hadn't glued it very well. That's what's up here, guys. Let's try that again. Actually have some glue on it for a change. All right. So I'm just trying to get a feeling of, without being super literal to each exact branch, about where they are and the kind of nature of them. And I'll try to, I don't even know where that sentence is going. What will I try to? I don't know. I was up too early, obviously. What will I try to do? Well, I guess what I was thinking is these are scraps, as I said, meant for other purposes or taken from other things, but I feel like they're doing a pretty good job of approximating branches, and yet feeling sort of idiosyncratic. And I think that sort of suits collage quite well, I think. So these branches are sort of closer to the mountains, like there. Oops, where'd that go? There we go. Another one sort of quite in the foreground there. Maybe I should hold off on the, get some more in the background first, and then put that one in. Are these ones that, yeah, I feel like my Mount Fuji's in the wrong place. And I'm not sure it is so bad. I think it's just I'm not getting my branches far enough over. And that's looking like it's paralleling the side of the mountain too accurately, so change the angle. A bit. I think that'll be better. And since these branches sort of curve up, I think what I'll do is just sort of fold my piece that would otherwise be straight and try and make it animated a little bit. Kind of like have it put a couple of kinks in it, even though it was a straight piece. Yeah, and now I'm going to put this piece in front, maybe a longer piece from that kind of. Let's see. I mean, I know it's tiny for you guys to, well, you can't even see it because it's off camera. Sorry. Yeah, there's no way you're going to see it. But anyway, there is a branch that's kind of in front of the other branches. So I feel like white is a good choice to go in front of the darker ones. It's also sort of out of focus. And so white feels more out of focus than black does. So not that I have to stick with that, but that's part of how you get a feeling of depth. So I think it's not important to slavishly stick to that thing, but sometimes there's a quality that you do want to harness, and that is one of them that I would like to harness. So, and one or two more branches, and then it is time for the second question. So get ready. Just going to get this branch in here. And then it will be ticket winning question number 2. And I hope you guys are feeling lucky. All right. So the second question, and this is for a pair of tickets that will be good for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, is what are the show hours on Saturday? What are the show hours on Saturday? First person to put that correctly in the comments scores the second pair of tickets. I'll check in on your winning comments in a moment and see who was first to get it right. Good luck, guys. I mean, if you don't know, it's probably the kind of thing you could look up, right? So, just saying. All right. I think it was here that I was thinking I was going to put that. All right, let's see. All right. So meanwhile, I'll get caught up with some comments, and Holly says, good luck with your, oh, first, no, I've got to go back further. Annie says, I think I missed it. What is the horizontal design on the pink background made of? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't think I ever said. So it was some collage paper I made using some pink construction paper and a white paint marker. One for a course that we did that I taught recently, one of the things we did was make some collage papers using drawing. So these are a couple as well that I didn't use yet, but I'm thinking I will probably use some of this and then some of the white bits for the flowers on the branches. So I know technically that's not part of this, my leftovers, but I might have to go outside and look. Annie says, wow, love that, Philippa, talking about the, Philippa says, I lived in London for a year way back after OCAD. I adore it. Had a cool job as an usherette at the Covent Garden Opera House. Wow. Wow. What a great, yeah, I mean, like, what a formative experience, eh, Philippa? That sounds amazing. And so that's what Annie was saying wow about. And Holly says, good luck with your application, Kat. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll let you know. Of course, they don't have any deadline. It's interesting. They don't have any deadlines. They don't say when they'll be announcing anyone. So I think it's sort of very informal, but I've followed up. I sent it in on February. I sent them a follow-up email to say, so when are you choosing? But these kind of things, I try to not get too invested in any one of them because the odds are poor that you're going to get any one particular opportunity. But if I put out several applications, I kind of feel like, if 4 don't come in but 1 does, then that's awesome, right? So, but I would love if the London one came in for sure. And Holly says, wow, Philippa, that sounds incredible. What a fun job. Did you get to see any cool backstage stuff? I bet she did. Holly also says, I worked behind the scenes for a TEDx talk in the Albert Hall once. It's pretty cool getting to run around at the places no one else gets to go. For sure, right? And Holly corrects the Royal Albert Hall in Kensington in London, right? To give it its full weight of its full magnitude. Holly says, I helped cut a giant tree-shaped red carpet for the stage. Haha, took so long. Oh my God, like set design, it's so involved. It takes so much work because it's big, right? It's not just something little like this. And it's like a thankless job, and then the show's over and it gets shelved. But yeah. Margaret says, my mom used to live across the road from Royal Albert. Wow. So when I go, I stay there. Only women allowed. Wow. What a great place. Philippa says it was her introduction to opera. Wow. That is so cool, guys. I love all these stories. And look at how many people have a connection to the Royal Albert Hall. That's like, how many are we here? We're like no more than 10 people. And like, it seems like half the group has a connection to it. That's so cool. All right, so I only have a few minutes left, and of course, I haven't finished, but I actually feel like I've got further than I often do. So what I'm going to try and do just briefly is, not briefly, quickly, is I'm just going to try to approximate sort of what I was thinking my approach might be for these flowers, these cherry blossoms on the branches, and that was just to sort of tear these pieces out of this pink scribbled paper that was scribbled on with a marker, a Sharpie that was actually starting to fade. And you know, I guess if I were, depends how far away from reality. I mean, it's not reality anyway, but like it'd be nice to have like a zingier pink. That kind of has a bit of pink to it. But I'm going to try just using this plus a little bit of white here and there, because sometimes a little bit of white will make it feel brighter. I don't know whether that will actually prove to be the case, but there's something lovely about the way that these, it's probably what drew me to this image. Like Mount Fuji, way, way, way in the background is in focus. And then these tree branches in the foreground are out of focus. They're not way out of focus, but they're not crisp, right? And it's kind of like, you know, that feeling when you're going through the woods and you've got your eye on something further ahead, but you've got these things that are like this in front of your view, right? That are just, they're not in focus. They're branches you're trying to brush away, or you're just looking through them so that they're secondary importance because your eye is on the prize in the distance. And that's a feeling, I think, that adds a nice feeling of depth. And so that's what I'm hoping to sort of get a bit of that feeling with this. I'm a real sucker for if we're talking about compositions of actual scenes that have things really close by and things that are really far back and things that are in between, because I think it makes us sort of realize it accentuates the words today. It accentuates and amplifies the feeling of depth. And I think when you can do that in a one-dimensional piece of artwork, like a piece of artwork that is, let's face it, flat, then that is something it's something worth trying to achieve, right? Because I don't know. So my blossoms are loose. That sounds like some kind of a weird code for something. My blossoms are loose. But they're not glued down. But hopefully as we near the end of our jam, you can at least sort of see the feeling that I was hoping to achieve with this. And I'll have to glue them down afterwards. I don't know whether this white idea of mine is helping or hindering. What it could be is sort of, if the white was up to one side, it'll look like lighting, like this side of this one's too soft. I think I want opaque white in this case. All right. My timer is telling me time is up, but I'm not done yet. Well, in fact is, I am going to have to be as done as I can be shortly, because I must needs move on to my artist prep stuff, artist project prep. So I don't think anyone answered the second question. So I completely understand if you guys don't have any, if everyone else is like not planning on going, that's understood. And it'll be awesome to see you guys there. And but if someone changes their mind and can tell me the hours of the show on Saturday before we wrap up, I will send you a pair of tickets. So I'm just going to spend another minute or two on these little blossom thingies, and then I'll switch to the other camera and sign off. This is our last jam for this term until after the artist project. So we'll probably pick up again mid to maybe definitely in April, probably towards the end of April. Maybe like whatever the second or third week is. So, but because I have been on all hands on deck for the artist project, I have not been coming up with themes or anything. So, and setting dates, but I'll do that shortly, and we'll have another term of prompts and jams. So. Oh, and if anyone is interested, I should mention that I'm going to be doing like a once a month 2-hour collage session at the Union Hotel downtown. And they're going to be on, I think, the first Tuesday of each month. So, and it's between 6 and 8 p.m. So it's great if you're already downtown. Or if you are like me, or in the in the suburbs, but you have some errands you want to run, you could like wrap them around it. I'm just going to confirm the date, but I think it's like the 7th or something like that of April. Yes, so 7th of April at 6 till 8 p.m. at Union Hotel. Check Union Hotel's Instagram and check my Instagram. I think there are only a couple of spots left, but there's going to be another one again in May. So if you don't get into the April one, you can try again for the May one. But it's a lot of fun. It's kind of like Virtual Collage Jam, but in person. So like the one in April that's coming up soon, we're going to use the Paris Collage Collective image as our starting point. So join us if you are interested. Okay, so this is as far as it gets, and I'm looking, when I look at it here in front of me, I see the blossoms, but when I look over at the camera that you guys are looking at, I don't see them as well. So I'm going to think about how I might pop them out a bit more. I think it might be a value thing. They might need, or maybe a bit more intensity. But I'm actually quite pleased with this process of using scraps and working from that image. So yeah, awesome. Okay, I'll switch over to the other camera it's the same camera, different view though. Switch over to this view so you can see me, and I was going to say, and I can see you, but I can't. All right, let's just see comments. Holly says, nice, Margaret. I went to uni at Imperial College across the road from there too. Can you hear the union from her place? That was also one of my jobs as a student, checking noise levels. Valerie says, looks great. Have to leave. See you next time. See you, Val. Thanks for coming. And Annie says, Kat, will you glue this piece down and bring it to the show? I would love to see it. I will do that for sure, Annie. I will do my best so you can see it. Philippa says, thanks and good luck. Thank you so much, Philippa. It's always nice to have you along. I hope, is the thing you're cooking up have any collage element? Because I'd love to see it. So post it in the Virtual Collage Jam group if it even has one little thing glued on it, because it'd be awesome to see it. I know it's going to take a while to cook it up, but I'd love to see it. Annie says, yay, thank you, see you soon. Yep, so if anyone other than Annie is planning on going but already has their tickets or whatever, I will see you at the Artist Project. And I will see you back here in mid to late April for our next Virtual Collage Jam. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. Fabric collage, perfect. Yeah, so yeah, definitely post a picture or two in the Virtual Collage Jam Facebook group when you get it done. All right, guys, thank you so much, and we will see you in April.